Sie hier heute für den Kongress zu gewinnen, das war dir, glaube ich, ein ganz besonderes Anliegen, richtig?
Ja, das war's. Wir haben gleich jemanden, was ganz Besonderes. Wir haben Madeline. Madeline ist ein internationales Supermodel und sie hat Down-Syndrom. Sie kam mit dieser Behinderung auf die Welt, doch das hat sie nie davon abgehalten, ein ganz normales Leben zu führen. Also zu musizieren, zu tanzen, auch zu reisen. Und ihr wisst es alle, normalerweise neigen Menschen mit Down-Syndrom zum Beispiel auch zu Übergewicht. Doch Madeline hat extrem hart trainiert und achtet auf sich. Sie ist eine wunderschöne, fitte, hochintelligente, warmherzige junge Frau. Und das ist noch nicht alles. Sie will auch was für andere bewegen. Sie hat zum Beispiel in Afrika eine Aufklärungsarbeit zur Inklusion geleistet. Sie hat eine Tanzschule gegründet, wo sich Menschen ohne Behinderung und mit Behinderung begegnen. Und deshalb rede ich nicht lang noch weiter. Bühne frei für Madeline Stuart.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Madeline Stuart, and with me today is international supermodel Madeline Stuart. Hi. Hi. We hope everyone is enjoying the amazing speakers today. As with all of you, Madeline's and my life has changed drastically during this time. Before COVID-19 isolated us from the world, Madeline had just returned from the United States, where we were working on Celebrity Edge in the Caribbean. And 3 weeks before that, Madeline was walking the runways at her 8th season at New York Fashion Week. This season, working with top celebrities Shania Twain, Paris Hilton and Meghan Trainor. The topic of this conference is no, and believe me, Madeline has heard no more times than I can count. 23 years ago, when Madeline was born, doctors told me Madeline would never mature mentally beyond that of a 7-year-old. That she would never succeed. If I was to have more children, she would be detrimental to them. I had options. I, of course, was shocked. At 25, I'd wanted a child for as long as I could remember, and this was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. Like a lot of parents in this situation, I went into shock, wondering what our future would hold. But 3 days later, I made the decision that Madeline and I would have an amazing life. We were going to be okay?
Yeah.
I never hid Maddie away from the world. We did therapy every day, and she was my new best friend.
Well,
I know. Even though life had its challenges, our world was filled with love and joy. Madeline, like 50% of people with Down syndrome, had a heart defect and underwent open heart surgery. First at 2 months of age, and then again at Christmas 2018.
Yeah.
So she is very much in the high-risk situation at the moment with COVID-19. Madeline's other biggest challenge is her limited speech. Even though Madeline understands everything, she cannot articulate her words clearly. So people assume she is not capable. Of course, when they hear about some of your success, they change their mind. Yeah. It opens their hearts to yes. You see, Madeline has been travelling the world for the past 4 years, and during that time, she has been educating people on what people with disabilities are capable of. Yeah. To give you a small glimpse, Madeline is the only person in history with an intellectual disability to get an O1 visa in the United States. Madeline was named #1 game changer in Forbes magazine in 2018. Madeline was the first person with Down syndrome to do an editorial in Vogue. She has graced the covers of numerous magazines all over the world, including German's own SZ magazine. Madeline is the only person with a disability to walk all of the official runways around the world every season, being the first person with Down syndrome to walk at Paris Fashion Week, London Fashion Week, the Middle East at Runway Dubai, in Asia at Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week China, and in many other countries around the world. Isn't that right, Maddie?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But tell us, where is your favourite place to model, Madeline?
York.
You love New York?
Yeah.
And what is your favourite? Catwalks or photo shoots?
A book.
You love catwalks?
Yeah.
Catwalks it is, people. So as you can see, no is not part of Madeline's vocabulary. Madeline is not your average 6-foot, pencil-thin model. But I think that is why she has succeeded. You see, Madeline's career started when she went viral on Facebook. Madeline decided to get fit when she was 17. Like many people with Down syndrome, Madeline had a weight issue, and it was starting to stop her from enjoying her favourite things, like dance and sport. Hey?
Yeah.
So one day, she decided she would lose weight and started a health kick. You started a health kick?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
You want to get super fit?
Yeah.
Super fit, yeah. So that is what she did. 12 months later, a lot of hard work, and 20 kilograms lighter, Madeline decided she wanted to encourage other people to get strong and fit. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you want to try to inspire people
Yeah.
to live long, healthy lives?
Yeah.
So we put up a post on Facebook. Well, that is where it all started. And that post, which went viral and got over 7 million views, started her career. If it was not for social media and for Madeline's 1 million plus viewers, do you have 1 million followers?
Yeah.
Devastating. I don't think Madeline would have the career that she has today. I believe that in our hearts, people want the average person to succeed. It gives us all hope for a better tomorrow, a world of equality and love. And that's why Madeline has so many supporters on social media. But there's been many obstacles during this journey in the last 4 years. In the first 2 years, the industry was not used to seeing someone with a disability working. So people would think they were doing Madeline a favour by including her in shows, etc. They were shocked when we told them she needed to be paid like everyone else. What companies do not always realise is that people with disabilities represent 20% of the population. 1 in 5 people have a disability, and 90% of the population has a strong connection with someone with a disability. As consumers, they are a $1 billion industry, and including people with disabilities in your branding can show your brand as authentic, that it is not scared to represent our actual society, and this can build trust. Luckily, over the last couple of years, things have changed, and while some people still expect Madeline to work for free, most expect there will be fees, and at a minimum understand, like you and I, she also needs to live and needs to be financially compensated. And even though Madeline loves modelling, her greatest passion is changing perception and creating a better world for people with disabilities. One of our favourite countries we visited was Uganda. We were contacted by a pastor in Uganda. He had a young girl in his village called Ketty. In Uganda, they did not understand disability and believed Ketty was a curse, that she was going to bring bad luck, so the villagers had tried to kill her 3 times. We were approached to come to Uganda and educate people on what disability was. It was the most amazing time in our life. We travelled the country talking to schools, organisations and government. After we left, 50 families brought their children out of hiding, children that had never walked in the sunshine before. I believe to a small extent we turned no into yes and helped create a positive outcome that now will continue to grow for the people of Uganda. There is so many stories I'd love to tell you about, amazing things Madeline and I have experienced during our lives. Madeline's success is a clear no to the common unconsciously recognised as legitimate beauty ideal society has put up. Which challenges did you have to face to negotiate this beauty perception and finally get where you are now? I think the biggest hurdle for Madeline was being recognised as a professional. When we first started this journey, people didn't understand that Madeline was a working model. They thought that if they included her in a fashion show or, in a campaign, they were doing her a favour, hey?
Yeah.
But that's not the case. Madeline is a human being like you and I, and just like you wouldn't work for free and I wouldn't work for free, people had to understand that Maddie also had to get paid for her work. And that is really hard for people with disabilities. It doesn't help that a lot of parents and carers are so used to their children or young adults not being included, and they feel very isolated. So when people ask them to be involved, they say yes. They don't ever say yes, but will you be paying, whoever it is they're talking to? And that has been the hardest thing, because when people approached me, I'd say yes, but there's fees involved. And a lot of people in the beginning, it's okay. A lot of people in the beginning would just say, okay, we're not interested, and move on to someone else. But now Madeline has over 1 million followers on social media. She has her own marketing campaign. People have seen Madeline on television countless times and in magazines and on covers of magazines. So people recognise who she is internationally. And because of that, people want to involve her in campaigns because they know she's a trusted brand. But it has been a really hard road, and I'm glad to say that finally we've succeeded. What do you think it is, Roseanne, about Madeline's story that captivated the world and made her a superstar overnight? I think that when people first saw Madeline's photo on social media and she'd lost 20 kilos, it was very unusual. 5 years ago, you never really saw people with disabilities on social media, especially people that were super fit and glamorous because, she went in for a photo shoot and she had her hair and her makeup done. And everyone wants to see something different. Our lives are full of the same things all the time. And also people want to barrack for the underdog. They want the average person to succeed. Many years ago, magazines and TVs decided what was popular and what we would see. But now we have social media. We see the average person, and an average person can go viral. An average person can become famous. And we all root for the underdog. We all want that average person to be successful because they are a reflection of us. We've gone past the times that people want to see 6-foot pencil-thin models walking down the catwalk. We live in a day where online buying is 50% of what we get delivered. If we can't see a catalogue with an average person in it, we're all going to be very, very disappointed when those clothes are delivered. And there'll be a lot of returns, because if you can't see a reflection of yourself in a catalogue, then you know that the product isn't going to look the same on you. And there are so many people in our society with disabilities. 1 in 5 people in our society has a disability. And unless you see people on the catwalk, in catalogues, on TV, we're not showing the real world. So I think that's why people have been so supportive of Madeline, because they wanted to see a real person succeed. What would the world be missing if it didn't have people like Madeline? So I think people with disabilities give our world colour. I mean, we as a society, we want the biggest house and the fastest car and the best technology, but we've lost humanity. During this epidemic, we've all learnt to enjoy the little things again. We're all home with our children. We've slowed down. We're playing cards again and, games, and we're spending time connecting, and that is what people with disabilities do. I mean, I say all the time that I created Madeline, but then Madeline created me, because Madeline slowed me down. Madeline taught me what was important. Madeline taught me not to judge people quickly. She taught me to love, to notice what was really important. And I think that if we keep going with society, we eradicate people with disabilities, we race ahead, our world is going to be very black and white. And I don't want to live in a world that's black and white. I want some colour in my world. And I think that's what people with disabilities do. They show us what true humanity is. And we don't, and we shouldn't, and we can't lose that. Correct?
Yeah.